What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What do we think of that one, guys? Kansas City Chiefs defeat the New England Patriots 27-17 on the road to move to 9-5 on the 2023 NFL season. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com, and I'm here to give my quick thoughts and analysis on the Kansas City Chiefs. Much needed win over the New England Patriots. Look, guys, there's no other way to say it. The AFC West is at stake right now. You can't afford to lose any more games. Making the playoffs is no longer a guarantee. And so all these games are becoming very important, even though they shouldn't be. The Chiefs should have never been in this situation where they were kind of scratching and clawing at the end of the season just to make sure they hold on to the AFC West and have that guaranteed playoff spot. But that's just kind of where we are at this point. Now, it's good that the Chiefs won today. They should have won, and there's no reason that they shouldn't win every single game left on their schedule. But unfortunately, this is a win that kind of needs to be treated as a loss because, guys, nothing was fixed. The Patriots simply are a 3-10 team that you could get away with those mistakes. But we all know that the Kansas City Chiefs are not going to get away with these mistakes against the better teams in the playoffs. And guys, they turned the ball over multiple times again today. The wide receivers dropped the ball 4 separate times. Like, nothing is changing about this team and about this offense. I mean, from the very first drive where the Chiefs went down the field on offense and they had to settle for a field goal because of a back-breaking penalty. And yeah, you can question the validity of the penalty. It was a pass interference on Rashee Rice. But, the issue is, in the past, the Chiefs had the talent to overcome a penalty like that or a setback like that. This year, when you get a penalty like that, it's unrecoverable for this offense. And then they have to settle for a field goal. And then, of course, Harrison Butker misses the field goal, his first miss of the season. And that just kind of epitomizes the issues on the Chiefs offense from this year. I got to a point in the third quarter where I determined that the Chiefs are going to win this game, but no one should really feel good about it. And then just to make me feel worse, the Chiefs turned it over and the Patriots got it back. And then they made it 27-17. It's like, oh shit, we have a game again. And it's like against the 3-10 New England Patriots. Like, when are people going to realize that this team just is not it? I don't know. Like, if you haven't come to the conclusion at this point in the season where it's week 14 and the Kansas City Chiefs are a flawed football team with an offense that simply cannot be trusted to win the postseason, like, I don't know what to tell you. The lone bright spot in this game on offense, well, actually there's 2 bright spots, but with the wide receiver core, I should say, Rashee Rice looks to be a guy. We already kind of knew that, though. Rashee Rice shows flashes. Now, his ball security still scares the hell out of me. I mean, you're scared to death that he's not going to catch it when he gets targeted, and then even after he catches it, you're scared to death that he's going to fumble it. And that's just what we're going to have to live with Rashee Rice, because he's the best talent that they have. At this point in the year, he's the most reliable wide receiver they have. As much as you don't want to be in that position, that's just kind of what it is. The other bright spot, though, is Clyde Edwards-Helaire somehow coming back from the dead to contribute, and then he mossed the linebacker on the New England Patriots in the end zone to get a touchdown. And it's like, dude, if you get mossed by CEH, you just got to retire after that. Like, there's nothing else I can tell you. You got to retire after getting mossed by CEH, of all people. But then, CEH's use should be limited. The problem is when you try to make him a feature guy, because as we saw later in the game, they would hand it off to him. And then I swear to God, in the second half, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, he had like 3 straight runs for negative yards. And it's like, okay, old CEH is back. Stop giving him the ball. Like, he ran out of juice for the day. It's like you only get so many good CEH snaps a day. You don't want to try to be greedy and use him for more than what he's worth. But man, this group as a whole just continues to be brutal. Sky Moore, bust. Do I need to say it again? He's a bust. And thank God that Rashee Rice was able to draw a penalty on the New England secondary, because if that defensive holding does not get called and Sky Moore fumbles. Like, Sky Moore should be counting his lucky stars that that play was negated by a penalty, because that could have been catastrophic. Like, who knows how the game goes if that play stands and Sky Moore turns it over. But it's like, even outside of that, you got Kadarius Toney doing exactly what he did against the Detroit Lions in week 1. He can't catch it. Ball is bobbled in the air, gets picked off by the defense. Mahomes throws another interception because this team is targeting Blake Bell, of all people. Like, Blake Bell, why? Like, that's part of the issue too with this coaching staff, is who they decide to target. Stop targeting the worst players on offense. Like, Andy Reid cannot be surprised when you target Blake Bell and it ends up in a turnover, because Blake Bell is not a receiving tight end. He didn't fight for the catch at all. Just got it. It was like taking candy from a baby, like, out of Blake Bell's hands. Stop. Why do we target the worst players on this team? And Sky Moore, I just talked about him. Like, you know what? Just stop targeting the guy. And Kadarius Toney, like, I've defended him for a long time. I really like Kadarius Toney. I almost felt bad for him because I thought it was just bad luck. But, man, that drop, it's like you got to bench him after that. Like, it's done. It's over. Stop targeting the same people over and over again. And they make the same mistakes, and it's like there's no accountability. There's no discipline from the coaching staff. I even saw Mahomes' trainer, Bobby Stroop, tweeting about how, these wide receivers, man, you got to sit them down. They keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And I'll tell you this, Bobby Stroop is not alone in those thoughts. He's very close with Patrick Mahomes. You saw Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. He was very frustrated. There was a clip of him that the broadcast caught after the Toney interception, and he didn't know what else to do. Like, Mahomes, it's like no matter what he does, it results in a turnover, and he's sick of it. And I'm telling you, Bobby Stroop is not getting that from out of nowhere. Like, that, he's not alone in those thoughts. That's coming from Patrick Mahomes. He's being a mouthpiece for Patrick Mahomes. And that outburst we saw from Patrick Mahomes last week after the Bills loss, I know he was yelling at the refs, but we all know that he was taking his frustration out on the refs. But really, all those emotions from Patrick Mahomes is anger towards the wide receiver room and the coaches and the offense that just boiled over. And Mahomes, he's a nice guy. He's all about positivity and that sort of thing. So he's not going to throw his guys under the bus. So he had to go for someone. So he decided to go for the rest. But we all know, people that can read between the lines, they know that Patrick Mahomes is fucking tired of this offense. That's just what it is. I'm sorry. And I kind of had a moment there when I saw Patrick Mahomes complaining on the bench. Brett Veach is doing the exact same thing that Green Bay did to Aaron Rodgers that made him so pissed off. Like, we are witnessing that. Like, history is repeating itself. Brett Veach is doing the exact same thing that the Green Bay Packers did to Aaron Rodgers. They failed to surround him with the proper supporting cast. And they're like, hey, we have an elite QB, so we're going to try to strengthen other areas while weakening these areas, such as wide receiver. And since you're a Hall of Fame quarterback, you'll figure it out. You got it. You can do this, man. No, sorry. You can't trot out a bunch of Walmart employees and McDonald's drive-thru workers at wide receiver and think that it's going to get the job done, Brett Veach. Like, this is what Brett Veach wanted. This was Brett Veach's plan heading into this year. All offseason, we heard from the media, Kansas City Chiefs believe in Kadarius Toney as wide receiver 1. They think Sky Moore is going to take a massive step this year. Nope, that was a terrible plan. Like, this falls on Brett Veach once again. I've said it all year long. Like, this is on Brett Veach. He's responsible for that. And I said that on Twitter, and then I had someone reply to me, oh, there's a salary cap. Okay, well, then don't spend $20 million a freaking year on Jawan Taylor. Like, I like Jawan Taylor. I thought it was a good signing, but they clearly overpaid him to be the right tackle. I mean, when they had that left tackle idea, I'm like, okay, well, then that makes sense. But then they just played him at right tackle anyway. So now we're paying $20 million for a right tackle that can't stop committing penalties. Week after week after week, it's the same thing. I sound like a broken record. It's the same concerns. And that's why this win to me feels like a loss, should be treated like a loss. Andy Reid should be on these guys in practice, cleaning up these details, these small mistakes, because they keep happening. It's just that this time, because like there was a Rashid Rice fumble that ended up being recovered by the Chiefs. But that's one of those things that has been happening all year long. And what if you didn't recover that fumble? All it takes is the ball to bounce just a slightly different way and the Patriots get it. And then who knows what the hell happens in that game? You can't, any team can beat you when you turn over the ball at the rate that the Chiefs do and have a horrific turnover differential, people said after the Bills lost that this team should win out and, there's nothing to be concerned about. But I'm like, I don't know how you can say that because when you turn the ball over at the rate that the Chiefs do and you consistently fail to break 20 points, anyone can beat you. And I mean anybody. So, I mean, the Patriots are one of the easiest teams the Chiefs have left on the schedule. But I don't know about the other games, guys. Like, the Chargers, you could probably chalk up as a win. I mean, they looked absolutely awful with Easton Stick at QB. And then, of course, Brandon Staley was fired, and that's a big development. But, I mean, they're done this year. That should be a win. But I don't know about the other ones, guys. Like the Raiders, again, they still have to play them. The Raiders are kind of rolling right now. Antonio Pierce has those guys playing well. I know you just beat them a couple weeks ago, but if you play them like you did against the 3-10 Patriots today against the Las Vegas Raiders here in a few weeks, you're going down. I'm sorry. What I hate too is it also just feels like this team is playing with a lack of energy, a lack of fire. It's like they're almost playing under the vibe that they know they're not going anywhere in the playoffs. No matter what they do, like this season is just kind of toast. And I'm not saying it is, but when I watch this team play, that's the energy and the vibes I get from them. Like the offense plays like it knows that it has a defense that can bail them out. And I just don't feel the sense of urgency from anyone besides Patrick Mahomes to really make a difference, make a change in this team's trajectory because they just look like that was the most pathetic 27-point effort I've ever seen, probably. I mean, you should have scored 30 plus on these guys. And, we can say that for just about every game this year. You should have put up more points against the Eagles. You should have put up more points against the Green Bay Packers. But when you make this many mistakes, maybe we should just stop saying that. Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe that's not what we should expect for you anymore. You got to change expectations. And, the Chiefs offense is just kind of playing like the expectations have changed for this year. It's almost like they're just trying to find anything positive they can, like feeding Rashee Rice and making sure that he has that experience going into next year. And, they just kind of know. Again, I'm not saying that's what they're doing. I'm not saying that's how they feel. That's how I feel when I watch them, though. Throughout the first quarter, I was just sitting there laughing about how bad this team is. After the Butker missed field goal and then the Mahomes interception, not long after, I'm laughing. Like this team is just so bad. And the more concerning part too is that this defense appears to be regressing to the mean a little bit late in the year. And that's a really bad development because the defense is your margin for error this year. And when the defense isn't playing a perfect game, the pressure is on this offense to execute. And the Patriots, again, are bad enough that you can get away with the mistakes, but I'm not sure about the other games left on the Chiefs' schedule if they're going to be able to get away with it. And if the defense is not playing up to their standard for this year, you got to score points. You got to score points anyway. Because we saw against the Philadelphia Eagles, several weeks ago, even when the defense is playing lights out, you have to put up points to win the football game. And so when you go up against those better teams, that's why I don't really have a lot of faith that the Chiefs are going to be able to win because the teams you're seeing in the postseason are going to be better than the end of this year's schedule. And so you've got to give people a reason to be optimistic. And I'm just not seeing anything to be optimistic about this offense. It's the same shit as every single week. And I think you're delusional. Like, Chiefs fans, you guys are great, but you're delusional at this point if you think this team is just going to magically get it fixed when they head into the postseason. Usually in the past, the Chiefs are playing their best football at this time of the year, but they're going backwards, guys. I mean, they just lack the traits that a championship team would have. They don't feel the same as Chiefs teams of the past. And even Travis Kelce, just look at the way he played today. I mean, that ball that Patrick Mahomes placed perfectly in the end zone, and then Travis Kelce shied away from the ball. I mean, because he was afraid to get hit by, I think it was Kyle Duggar of the Patriots, the safety. Like, he knew the hit was coming if he went for that ball, so he just didn't go for it. And it's like, Kelce, dude, come on. Take a freaking hit. Like, I know this year has been rough for you as far as injuries and that sort of thing, but this team needs you. This team is so desperate for offensive production. They need you. You cannot be shying away from that ball that was perfectly placed in the end zone. And that's why I say I get the vibe that this team just doesn't really care and that expectations have been reset even in the locker room. That's what I feel like when I watch this team. Travis Kelce needs to go for that ball. I'm sorry, man, but toughen up. Come on. You're the leader of this team. And when you do that, you shy away from a ball that's perfectly placed from your Hall of Fame quarterback, you need to go up and grab it, dude. What a horrible example for the rest of the team. I don't know what else to say. This performance doesn't move me. This win doesn't really make me feel any better. I still feel like the same issues are present. So, yeah, we're moving on. We'll see what happens next week. So that's all I got for this one. Let me know down in the comments what your guys' confidence level is in the Chiefs offense at this point in the season. Did this game boost your confidence at all, or are you kind of on my side that nothing's changed? Let me know down below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. Make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com for more. See you all in the next one. Go Chiefs.